This video was suggested by 95% Water. If you wish to suggest an animal you'd like to see me cover, feel completely free to do so. I'm thinking something along the lines of chameleons or Hyla monsters, but you can suggest what it should be. Anyways, on to the video. In the southern hemisphere lies one of the best known flightless birds, the penguin. Why do they have such strange looking mouths? How do penguins shoot themselves out of the water like rockets? And why are penguins black and white? Hi, welcome to Wild Side of Things, and those questions and more will be answered in this video on Facts About Penguins. There are quite a bit of misconceptions around where penguins live. Most people think that penguins are exclusive to Antarctica. However, out of the 18 species of penguin, there are only 5 species that are endemic to Antarctica, with an additional 4 native to the subantarctic islands surrounding the continent. Outside of Antarctica, penguins can also be found in New Zealand, southern Australia, southern Patagonia, and western South America. The northernmost species, the Galapagos penguin, is the only species to be found in the equator. In their native range, penguins typically live in large groups called colonies. Depending on the species, these groups can get as small as a few hundred to as large as several 100,000. It's a common misconception that polar bears and penguins live alongside each other. The two animals would never naturally run into each other. Polar bears only live in the Arctic Circle, which is in the northern hemisphere, and as we've already established, penguins are exclusive to the southern hemisphere. The closest thing to penguins polar bears would ever run into would be puffins and auks, neither of which are related to penguins and only look alike due to convergent evolution. With the exception of a few species, penguins generally aren't considered endangered. However, the populations of many non-endangered species are declining due to many factors, including habitat loss, oil pollution, and overfishing of their prey. Penguins are carnivorous, with majority of their diet consisting of small fish, crustaceans, and cephalopods. Oftentimes, penguins will eat monstrous amounts of seafood. For example, the Adelie penguin has been known to eat 1.5 billion kilograms worth of krill, 115 million kilograms worth of fish, and 3.5 million kilograms of squid. If you've ever looked inside a penguin's mouth, you would notice strange spikes. It's easy to mistake them for teeth. However, don't be fooled, as they are not teeth whatsoever. Instead, those spikes are papillae, which are not used for chewing but instead grip. Essentially, they're there to hold down food in their mouths. Because penguins can't chew their food, they instead swallow rocks, which, once inside their body, become gastroliths. These gastroliths sit inside their gizzard to help grind down their food. Interestingly, gastroliths are surprisingly common in the animal kingdom, with seals, crocodiles, and other birds with gizzards also exhibiting this behavior. Penguins are a common prey item for many of the large predators of the ocean. Some common predators include pinnipeds, sharks, and orcas. On occasion, human sailors will eat them as an extra food source. Although this is illegal, as all 18 species are protected under the Antarctic Treaty. All 18 species belong to a single family, Synicidae, which is also the only living family within the order Cyneiform. In the 16th century, penguin was a commonly used synonym for great ox. In fact, their genus name, Penguinus, was named after this fact, and means penguin without flight feathers. Today, the largest species of penguin is the Emperor penguin, measuring around 1.1 to 1.3 meters, which is just slightly above our forearms. However, in the past, there were species of penguin which reached heights higher than us humans. For example, Paleodiptinae, otherwise known as the giant or mega penguin, was a Goliath penguin which reached up to 2 meters in height. In comparison, the average human male is 1.7 meters. The oldest known fossils of penguins are surprisingly from New Zealand, being about 62 million years old. It is debated what bird is the closest relative of penguins. The two groups which scientists most suggest are the procellariforms, the albatrosses, petrels, and shearwaters, or the gaviforms, or the loons. Currently, DNA evidence is pointing at loons, but the debate still goes on. What scientists do agree on, however, is that they most likely evolved from a flying ancestor, only to lose their flying abilities some 70 to 80 million years ago. As per being flightless aquatic birds, penguins have evolved several adaptations made for a marine environment. For example, they can use air bubbles in their feathers to shoot themselves out like a rocket. By forming and releasing air bubbles in the penguin's coat, they can change the density and viscosity of the surrounding water, reducing drag and allowing them to take sudden bursts of speed. The penguin's color isn't just there to look pretty, there's a very practical reason for it: countershading. Countershading is a form of camouflage where one part of its body is dark while the other is light. Its top is usually black, so it blends in with the abyss, and its bottom is white, so it blends in with the surface. Penguins are well known for being monogamous. They find a partner and mate for life. How they attract a mate, however, varies from species to species. Some, like Gentoo and Adelie penguins, court using rock nests. The female will be attracted to the nest she likes the most. Other species don't make nests, and instead call out hoping a female is attracted to their call. Once successfully courted, the two penguins then breed. Unlike us, male penguins do not have the same genitalia. Instead, penguins rub their cloacas together, mixing fluids together, and hopefully that'll cause fertilization. After about 3 to 5 days of the mating occurring, an egg is laid. The egg will then take a further 30 to 60 days to incubate, and in that time it is stored in the penguin's brood pouch. In most species, the two parents will take turns incubating the eggs, with the exception of the emperor penguins, whose males do most of the work. The females will leave for 2 months in search of food. In that time, the male will then incubate the egg, surviving only on its fat. In some cases, if the female doesn't come back, the male waits so long he'll starve to death. The lifespan of a penguin varies widely between species. The lifespans generally vary between 6 to 20 years.